Hi, everybody. I'm Lance Smith, and I've got a message to give the man or woman who is illegally blocking or tampering with my Facebook. I have a message to give them with the help of the famous actor known as Robert De Niro. Let me see here. What do I know about Robert De Niro? Not a lot, but he was one of the first famous actors that I did know of. So when it comes to Robert De Niro, I can only, right off my head, I can only think of him in three movies. The first movie that I saw him in, I was no older than 10 years old, and I watched a very scary movie called Cape Fear. And that's one of the first famous actors that I recognized, and his name was Robert De Niro. Cape Fear was a very, very scary movie, and I'm going to explain that movie at the end of this. Yeah, I watched that at about age 10, and it was pretty terrifying to me. Throughout my life, I don't think I saw Robert De Niro in many other movies. I didn't really want to see him in any other movies after watching Cape Fear, but I saw him in a pretty dumb comedy movie called Meet the Fockers with Ben Stiller. I didn't think that was very good, but it had its moments. And then I saw him in a movie where I think I only watched half the movie, but I think he was an old man that worked for a phone book company. I think I only watched half the movie in a mental institution. I thought it was kind of boring. Maybe there was a point to it, though. I don't know. But I think he's been in a lot of other movies. I just don't know which ones. But anyways, there is clearly a powerful Facebook employee who has made the choice to illegally block and tamper my my Facebook. And again, I was trying to become an influencer, and if that didn't work out, I wanted to use my Facebook to contact my friends and family and to enjoy social media with everybody else in America. And I'm still using my Facebook right now, even though it's being features are being illegally blocked and tampered with. So, I still have 4,000 friends, 84 followers, and I'm part of like 40 different groups. I follow like 20 different people. And there's cool messages that pop up on my Facebook, and I'm if you're part of different groups or if you follow people, the posts pop up on your own Facebook, and I'm part of some kind of group or something where it shows quotes from famous people in black and white, and some of the quotes are really, 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 really good. Keanu Reeves comes up with some good ones. The guy who acted Neo in The Matrix. I've seen a few good ones from him. But I've seen a lot of good ones. A lot from famous celebrities. They're in black and white. It shows the celebrity in black and white. And it shows a quote that they made. And I've seen a ton of good ones. I'm not going to lie. I really like this group thing that I'm part of. Like, most of them are good. Some of them are really good. Yeah, most of the time I don't agree with that. Most of them I do. But Robert De Niro made one that I really liked, and it was funny to me because I read it, and when I read it, I thought to myself, I agree with that halfway. And his quote was in my head because I redid the quote in my head. And then a few days later, I said, you know what? Robert De Niro was right. I actually agree with him. My quote was wrong. But there is some truth in my quote. So I'm going to show you both quotes. What was Robert De Niro's quote on this page in black and white from this page that I follow on Facebook? His quote was, "Do you know what annoys me more than anything? It's when somebody does something to someone else that they don't want done to themselves." Okay? He said, that annoys me more than anything. You know, my mind said, you know what? That does annoy me too, but I'm going to make that the top 5 annoying things in my life. And my mind said the most annoying thing in my mind is when people say, okay, I know what you're thinking and what you're trying to do. Okay, that annoys me extremely bad. Okay, and then I thought about it for a sec, and I was like, you know what? Robert De Niro's was more annoying. I agree with Robert De Niro. Yeah, that annoys me. That's my number 1 annoyance too. I'm gonna agree with Robert De Niro. He says, yeah, what annoys me, okay, more than anything, okay, is when somebody does something to someone else, okay, that they do not want done to themselves. The irony in that is there's a powerful Facebook employee who has made the choice to illegally block and tamper my Facebook. And he would clearly not want this done to himself. So this man is really annoying me. He's clearly annoying Robert De Niro. And I wonder how many other people he's annoying right now, because it annoys people more than anything, okay? A lot of people are going to agree with this quote that I agree with through Robert De Niro. So I'm going to say the second most annoying thing in my perspective. I thought it was first, but it's definitely second after what Robert De Niro just said. It's, I hate it, okay? When people say, I know what you're thinking and what you're trying to do. And when I bring that up, I was going to say nobody goes through this worse than I do. And I'm going to correct myself again. I bet you there's a lot of people out there who go through it just as bad as I do. I just, I got illegally locked in jail and a mental institution for 14 years. So I dealt with it a lot from criminal judges and psychiatrists. When I'm talking to them, and I mean the criminal judges do it the worst. So, in court, everybody has their by law, everyone has to, there's the judge, there's the defendant, there's the prosecutor. Okay. Everybody has to have their turn to talk. It's the law. So the judge says, I'm going to talk first. Prosecutor, it's your turn to talk. Okay. When the prosecutor is done, he goes, defendant, it's your turn to talk. So when it's my turn to talk, it doesn't matter if it takes me 1 minute or if it takes me 2 days. It's my turn to talk until I'm done talking, as long as it's regarding my case. Okay. So when it's my turn to talk, I shouldn't have to express anything special. I should just be able to start talking regarding my case. And when I'm done, okay, the judge says, it's now my turn to talk. It's now the prosecutor's turn to talk again. But what happens to me in court, okay, I've learned that the judge always cuts me off, so I'll tell the judge, you know, I shouldn't have to say this, but I do say this. Hey, judge, what I'm about to say, it's going to take me about 20 minutes to express my point. Please do not cut me off. Okay, and the judge will say, okay, proceed. And then I start talking, and about 2 minutes later, the judge will be like, Lance, stop talking, be silent. Okay, do not talk. It is no longer your turn to talk. Okay. Okay, so, and sometimes the judge will say, you know what, I know what you're trying to say, Lance, and I know what you're thinking, and I know what you're trying to do. Don't talk. Okay. Again, this comes in second with annoyance, is when people say, I know what you're trying, I know what you're thinking, and I know what you are trying to do. Okay, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're trying to say, I know what you're trying to do. And I bet there's a lot of people who get annoyed with this all the time, just as much as I do. I just, you know, the whole being illegally locked in jail and mental hospitals, I was putting up with it damn well near daily. You know, talking to a psychiatrist, you know, I'm talking to him, look, hey, you know, I need to talk to you for a couple hours, and then you talk to them for 20 seconds, and they go, stop, okay, I know what you're trying to say, I don't want to hear it, this is what I want you to do, okay, just don't talk anymore, I need you to accept this. Okay, I know what your mind's doing. I know what you're trying to do. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I wanted to express this quote to the man or woman who's illegally tampering with my Facebook. You know, Robert De Niro, the famous actor, made that quote. What upsets me more than anything is when somebody does something to someone else, okay, that they wouldn't want done to themselves. So I am totally behind that with Robert De Niro. And yeah, coming in second, I've learned that when you're trying to express yourself, there's sometimes when you need to make a point and it takes 20 minutes, sometimes one word makes the difference to get your point across. So you have to express everything to express that one word just right so everybody can understand you correctly. Okay. Yeah, so it really annoys me when people say, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're trying to say, and I know what you're trying to do. So probably tomorrow I'm going to make a new video playing off this one. I'm gonna tell, okay, the powerful Facebook employee, okay, exactly what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to say, and what I'm trying to do, okay? So in the meantime, their Facebook illegal man or woman, why don't you tell the Facebook company what you think I am thinking? Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, the Facebook company and the government, go ahead and tell them what I am thinking, what I am trying to say, and what I am trying to do. And yeah, go ahead and tell everybody. And tomorrow I'm going to tell you what my mind is thinking, what my mind is trying to say, and what my mind is trying to do. So go ahead and tell everybody what my mind is thinking, what my mind is trying to say, and what my mind is trying to do. So when I make the new video, everybody's going to see how close you are, how correct you were, okay? Yeah, and why I'm doing this, I've got a positive message to give from watching the movie Cape Fear. How many people have seen the scary rated R movie called Cape Fear with Robert De Niro in it? I bet a lot of people have. I bet a lot of people haven't. It was pretty damn scary. And there's a good lesson learned in it to give judges and attorneys. Okay, so let me tell you guys the plot of the book and what attorneys and judges can learn from this. Okay, what happened was there was a man who violently raped a woman, and he got arrested and was brought into jail. Okay, so the man, he pled innocent, and he hired an attorney. Okay. So the man who violently raped a woman, he was working with an attorney. Okay. And it was clear to the courts and the evidence that this man was going to lose his case. Okay. And the man who violently raped the woman, he told the attorney what he wanted to do. And it wasn't against policy or law in the courtroom. The man just said, I just want you to do this for me and say this. Okay. And the attorney didn't. Okay. The attorney didn't follow policy and law, and he broke law and said something different. So when this man should have gotten 10 years, he got 20 years instead. Okay. So if they would have gone to a regular court trial, okay, if the evidence would have been shown, he would have been proven guilty, and he would have been given 10 years. Okay. But because of what the attorney did, he was given 20. Okay. Here's the lesson learned about this situation, guys. So what happens is the man who violently raped the woman, he's given the 20-year sentence. While this man is in prison for 20 years, he does nothing but read books and work out. Okay. When the man is released 20 years later, this man wants nothing more in life but to kill the attorney, okay, that got him 10 extra years. He wants nothing else. So the man comes out, and he now knows law, and he knows the police, he knows books, he has his own knowledge. And this attorney now has to fight for his life to protect himself and his own family. Okay. Because this man just spent 20 years in prison, and he did 10 extra years. And this man wants nothing in life but to kill the attorney that gave him 10 extra years. So the lesson learned in this, and what I've learned from, I'm a good innocent man who did 14 years. What I learned about the criminal mind and the evil mind and the correction system, the justice system, the courtroom. So watch this, okay? The man violently raped a woman, and the cops caught him, okay? The police officers, they don't take a gun and put a bullet in his head. They don't put a bullet in his heart, okay? They actually arrest him, okay? And they put him in a jail, and the cops tell the judge and the attorneys, okay, we didn't kill him, prosecute him, and give him a fair sentence, okay? Give him his correction punishment, okay? That's the point of the judge and the attorney, okay? The cop's job is 1,000 times more harder than the judge and the attorney, okay? I went and caught the bad guy. I didn't shoot him, okay? Prosecute him in court, give him a fair sentence, okay? The reason you want to give a fair sentence, okay, is the justice system, okay, yeah, the courtroom, the justice system, the prosecution system has come a very, very, very long ways. There are, in our past, there are psychiatrists and judges and attorneys who have studied the criminal mind, and each crime that has happened has a different sentence, okay? So the idea, it says if you steal a candy bar and you prosecute the person correctly, you give him 4 days in jail. When he gets out, he's going to be corrected. Okay? It works even better when someone commits a big crime. Okay? Someone stole a car. It says if you put him in prison for 4 years, when he gets out, not only is he not going to steal a car anymore, okay, he's not going to break policy or law anymore, okay? The psychiatrists and the judges and the attorneys have studied this and proven it, okay? So the idea is, look, the cop caught a man who violently raped a woman, and psychiatrists and judges and attorneys have studied the man's mind who did this. If we put him in prison for 10 years, when he gets released, okay, he's not going to rape anybody. He's not going to break policy and law, and he's going to help us have a safer community. Okay, that's the catch there. So this is a lesson to every judge and attorney out there. Your job isn't hard. And if you follow policy and law in the courtroom and you treat all criminals with policy and law and you simply give them their rights, okay, those evil criminals, when they get released from prison, they're going to protect you. I'm not kidding. No matter how big, how bad their crime is, if you simply follow the policy and law in the courtroom and prosecute him correctly and give him his rights, the mind is satisfied with the rights in the courtroom, okay? Yeah, in prison, your mind accepts, I committed that crime and it was terrible. I'm not going to do that ever again. And I deserve the 30 years. I deserve the 10 years. I deserve the 5 years. They just have to be corrected. They just have to be treated correct in the courtroom. That's it. Yeah, so... yeah, there's studies on this stuff. So, yeah, let me, just a sec. Yeah, so, judges and attorneys really have it made, okay? Their job is so much easier than the cops. But the only way to have it made is if you just treat those criminals correctly. You have to give them their rights. You guys see what I'm saying? So, I mean, just prosecute them correctly. It doesn't matter how bad the crime is. And some prisoners, they get life in prison. When you put them in prison, their mind says, yes, I deserve life in prison. But here's another catch. Okay, so the prisoner got life in prison, right? But he still pleads innocent. If you give him his rights and you prosecute him correctly with all of his rights, and the trial's done and it says, yes, I'm giving you life in prison, do you know what that does? When you put that prisoner in prison, he's happy to be in prison now because he got a correct trial. So if that prisoner was treated correctly in the courtroom, when he becomes a lifelong prisoner, he's not going to be a threat to the prison guards. Do you guys see what I'm saying there? He's not going to be a threat to other inmates. He's not going to be a threat to any of the male or female prison guards because you treated him correctly in the courtroom. So if a person who has a life sentence, if you decide not to give him his rights in the courtroom, when you put him in prison, okay, he's going to lash out at the guards. And guards don't like that. Sometimes a guard gets punched in the face. Well, we can blame that on the judge if the judge didn't treat the prisoner correctly in the courtroom. Okay? So yeah, the judges and attorneys' job is it's easy. It's a good job. You're very protected. It's a disturbing job, and it can backfire on you very, very quick. As soon as you don't give a defendant their rights, you're in trouble. Okay. like that movie from Cape Fear, okay? You know, here comes a person that you really don't like. His sentence is 20 years. You don't give him his rights in prison, and you decide to give him 25. Okay, when he gets out of prison, he doesn't just want to kill you, he wants to kill everybody. All you had to do was give him his rights in jail, and you would have made our city and our country more safe, but you decided, you know what? I don't want to follow the policy and laws of my courtroom. I don't want to hear what this guy has to say in a trial. I don't want to give him 20 years. I want to give him 25. So it's a correction facility. It's not a punishment facility, okay? We're trying to correct everybody. So the idea is, you know, judge, don't complain about your job. Attorney, don't complain about your job. The cops are going out there, and they aren't shooting the rapists. They're handcuffing them, okay? They aren't shooting the serial killer. They're handcuffing them. They can shoot them if they want to, but the cops are the ones giving the second chance, and the cops need the judges and the attorneys to work off this, okay? Because if the judges don't do it right, then the criminal gets out of jail 10, 20, 30 years later, and they want to kill the judge, they want to kill the attorney, they want to kill cops. But if the judge and the attorneys simply do their simple job correctly, okay, the whole city's protecting them. They say, just prosecute them correctly, okay? If you do that, they go do their sentence for 20 years. When they come out, they go, I was so wrong for doing that, okay? I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm going to follow policy and law, and I'm going to help. I'm going to help society. I want to get a good job, and I'm going to tell other bad guys to not be bad guys anymore. So it just takes the judge and the attorney to do that. So yeah, if you prosecute someone incorrectly, man, that's how it goes. You know, that was the idea of that Cape Fear movie. It was scary as hell. You know, clearly we don't want any crime to happen, and what we're trying to create in this country and in this world is a world of world peace, meaning you're born into a world where all humans don't commit any crime. So we are making that progress. We've come a long ways since crime has started. Crime rate is going low because technology and humans are working together to make it lower. But somebody took the time, psychologists and judges took the time to work together, you know, saying, if you know, someone violently rapes a woman, if you put him in jail for 10 years, when he comes out, he's not going to do it again because you treated him right in the courtroom. But the key is to have him treated right in court. If you don't treat him right in court, it's not going to change anything. There's a chance that he might be worse when he gets out. A chance. It doesn't always happen that way, but it's virtually the person's choice. There's a chance that it's going to happen, okay? If you treat them right in court, there isn't a chance, okay? You have to treat them right in court, okay? I have talked to criminals in jail, okay? And there's my experience is in jail, okay? If the judge or the attorney breaks one policy in the courtroom, okay, I want to kill him, okay? And I'm an innocent man, okay? So I know that everybody feels that. And, you know, these they don't feel it as bad as I do, but some of them do. They come in there and like, you know, I asked my attorney to do this, but he did this instead, and I feel really screwed over. And, you know, it's really stupid. But the idea is you give the defendant his rights. I mean, attorneys do this all the time. Okay, ready? You know, the defendant says, what are my options? And the attorney goes, you have 5 different options. Okay, and the defendant says, I want this option. And the attorney says, if you go with this option, okay, if you get pled guilty, you're facing 15 years, okay? If you take this option and you get pled guilty, you only have to face 5 years. And the defendant says, I still want the one that goes with 15. And the attorney says, I'm not going to do that even if you tell me to. Okay, it's wrong to do that. Okay, if you do what the attorney wants and he gets pled guilty and he gets 10 extra years because of it, okay, the defendant is happy. Okay, he'd rather have the 10 extra years than go with your choice and get stuck with 5. Okay, that's just how the human mind works. Okay, these are my options. Okay, this is what I want to go with. Okay, do this. If it works out for me, I'm happy. If it doesn't work out, okay, I'm happy because I went with my option. Okay, and you know the defendant says, hey, look, attorney, you speak, you represent me. Okay, I tell you what to say, not you say what you want to say about me. Okay, so you represent me, so I say, I want you to say this. That's what you tell the judge. Okay, attorneys get that mixed up all the time. They say, I speak for you. I don't want to hear what you say. Be quiet. Okay, attorney's job is to listen to the defendant. If the defendant says, this is what I want you to say, if it's regarding the case and it's legal, that's what he has to say. Okay, you know, that's the attorney's job. Again, your job isn't hard. Okay, it's disturbing, but it's an easy job. It's a high-paying job. It's a protecting job. So, I mean, if you want to say I have the power to screw you over and not listen to you and get you more years, there's a chance that when that person gets out of jail, he's going to use all of his willpower and his knowledge to try to murder you, to try to cut your throat, to try to beat you with a bat. Okay. You won't be sleeping very good. Yeah, if you treat a defendant wrong, then you put your entire family in danger, just like that Cape Fear movie. Yeah, that guy got out of jail and he wanted nothing more than to kill this man, and he ended up stalking his daughter and sexually assaulting his daughter a little bit. The attorney hired a detective, and the guy who got out of prison killed the detective and slit his throat with a wire. He hired 10 men to go kill him, and the man took a pipe and beat the 5 men to death. So this attorney, protecting himself, has now gotten 6 other men killed, protecting himself, and his daughter's been sexually assaulted. And then he runs away from the guy, and he tries to escape this guy on a boat, but the guy happens to be on the boat with him, and he ends up raping, molesting his wife and his daughter some more and locking them in a cooler. And the attorney does something, and the bad guy ends up getting handcuffed to the boat, and it sinks to the bottom of the river. Okay, but the idea there was if the attorney would have just prosecuted him using policy and law that he was under, then his family would have been safe. And when the man got out of jail, the man actually would have protected the attorney and his family for treating him correctly in court. So it's that simple. If you're a good judge, if you want to be a good judge, just sit there and give the defendant his legal rights in court, and you don't have anything to be afraid of with any defendant. It doesn't matter which one it is. If you just give the defendant their rights, and yeah, if you give them their lawful rights, if you don't strip them of any of them, okay, by the end of the trial, the defendant loves you. I'm not kidding. He just wants his country rights. So as soon as you strip him of one right, okay, he wants to kill you. I've been in that position. Okay, so I'm like, these are my rights, if we follow the rights correctly, it's going to show my innocence, okay? That's the idea. And another catch is sometimes the defendant is clearly guilty, okay? A lot of times they will plead guilty and not go to trial, but sometimes a person pleads innocent when they know they're guilty because they think they might be able to get 1 year cut off, or they're just trying to give a positive message to the judge or the attorney. Okay, do you guys see what I'm saying? He even knows that he's gonna get proven guilty. The idea is just give everybody their lawful rights in court, even if it's a waste of time. Okay, because it's not a waste of time in the end. Every man, if they're treated correctly in court, when they go in prison, they go, I love how that judge and that attorney treated me in court. That felt extremely good. I got the next 15 years in prison. How the judge treated me felt good. So when I'm in prison, I think I deserve this. By the end of the 15 years, they go, yeah, I totally deserve that. And you know what? I really love my judge and my attorney. And yeah, I'm ready to get out of prison and be part of my country. Yeah, it's that easy, you guys. So, if you want to become a judge or attorney, you have to accept you're going to be talking to people that you don't want to talk to. Okay, but you're in a safe position until you don't give a defendant their lawful rights. After that, you just put your entire family in danger. That guy might want to try to kill you, okay? Yeah, I'm an innocent man that got locked away, okay, by a criminal judge. And then I got tortured by psychiatrists with needles. That was even worse to me because I'm someone who dedicates half of my life to being skinny. So I'm in a mental hospital, and these psychiatrists, they'll say, so tell me how you got here and why you're here, Lance. And again, I'll tell them, I need to express myself for a couple hours, and then I'll talk for about 20 seconds, and they say, stop. Okay, you're bipolar. You're taking bipolar medication. So the word bipolar means you have a mood disorder, meaning you bounce back and forth from two moods with no reason. You're really sad and then you're really angry, and for no reason. You go sad, you go angry, you go sad, you go angry, and there's no reason for it. Okay. It was clear to everybody in the hospital, all the staff, the nurses, the cooks, the technicians, they would all tell the psychiatrist, Lance has no mood disorder. Lance is not bipolar. They would tell him, Lance isn't just, doesn't only have the most stable mood in the hospital, but in my own personal life, Lance has one of the most stable moods that I've ever seen. Okay, they all tell the psychiatrist that. Okay, and the psychiatrist says, you guys are wrong. He's bipolar. He needs bipolar medication, and he'll put me on a bipolar medication that gives you dramatic weight gain. Okay. Yeah. So, and I even expressed to the psychiatrist and all the staff, look, if you don't have a cough and you take cough syrup, it makes you really sick. Okay. If you're not bipolar and you take a bipolar pill, it makes you super sick. Okay. And you guys are making me extremely sick. And, and the psychiatrist says, tell me the side effects that you're having. And, you know, I tell him, you know, it's hard for me to breathe. I'm not sleeping. It's hard for me to swallow. Um, Again, my nose is always clogged. It's making my nausea worse. And he says, yes, okay, it's working very good. So, yeah, and you know, and there's laws of when they can give you pills and when they don't give you pills, and the psychiatrist for breaking that laws too. You know, I reject them, so now he's forcing a nurse to take a long needle and stab it into my arm or my butt and inject me with Zyprexa. Okay, it's for bipolar people, and it's you gain a shitload of weight. Okay, on an average diet. So every time I get there and they start injecting me with Zyprexa, I would switch to a vegan or vegetarian diet. I would start fasting. Okay, yeah, you know, yeah, Lance skipped breakfast and lunch today. They ask him why. Okay, because the Zyprexa shit makes him fat, and he doesn't want to be fat. Okay, so I did this. I did that for 10 years and I never gained any weight. The 12th time that I was there, I had such a big injection of Zyprexa in me that I ate a regular diet for 2 months, and I stepped on the scale and I went from 145 to 190. And I said, shit, I forgot to fast and switched to the vegetarian diet. And right now, you know, literally half my life is being skinny, and I just jumped up to 190. My whole body is stretched out and fat. Right now, it's stretched out and disgusting. I've only shrunken down to 170. Yeah, my legs stretched out, my ass stretched out, my stomach stretched out, and it hasn't healed at all. And so at this point, the psychiatrist that said that if you're a psychiatrist and you wrote in a medical report that Lance is bipolar, I honestly want you to have the electric chair. Okay, there was no reason for it the entire time. Yeah, so I definitely want you all to have just electrocuted to death and buried underground. That's how I feel right now. Seriously. The entire hospital tells the psychiatrist, he don't have he doesn't have a mood disability. And I guess I can touch on this a little bit more. There's like 10 different diagnoses, and I was given worksheets of each one, and I laid all of them out in front of the psychiatrist, and I said, I've looked at all of these. The bipolar symptoms, I don't have one of them, but this one's called OCD, and I told the psychiatrist, I'm not joking, man. Okay, I have all of these symptoms. I'll admit that I have obsessive compulsive disorder, okay, but I need you to diagnose me with that and give me a medication that's for OCD. Okay, and he would say, Lance, you are and I would tell him OCD stories. You know, I go to the bathroom and I wash my hands, and I look at the sink and I'm trying to shut it without touching it. And then I touch it, and then I have to wash my hands again. When I open the door, I have to stop, and I go, wait, there's poop on the door. How do I open it? And then I open the door, and I walk out, and I feel like I need to wash my hands again. When I shake someone's hand, I enjoy shaking people's hands, but every time I shake someone's hand, I have to run to the bathroom and wash it. Okay. So at the end of me saying this, he goes, Lance, you're not obsessive. You don't have OCD. You have bipolar. I'm not going to give you OCD medication. Okay. You're going to take the OCD injections. Okay. Get out of my office. Okay. So, yes. So I'm saying at this point, you know, I want them all in the electric chair. But I mean, honestly, I want them all to have a fair sentence in prison. I know it's going to be a prison one for this medical malpractice. Any psychiatrist, okay, in my entire psychological career, if they wrote Lance is bipolar, okay, I want him to go sit in prison for 5 years, or whatever the fair sentence is. If it's 6 months, it's 6 months. But yeah, I just want them to have the correct sentence. But I mean, a lot of these psychiatrists, you know, I was in the mental hospital for 12 months, and every 2 weeks or once a month, they order an injection into my arm. Okay. Their prison sentence needs to get higher every time they order that injection into my arm because it's a form of torture. Okay. So, yeah. Yep, it's a form of torture. And I think there's a couple psychiatrists that have reached life in prison or the electric chair with all the bullshit that they wrote in reports and injected me with. Okay. Yep, there's probably a couple. Okay. Yeah, I am outraged right now of my body being out of shape. Half my life was dedicated to being skinny. In 2011, when I was given the first intentional false diagnosis of bipolar, I had a skinny 12-pack. Not just a 12-pack, but a skinny one. Some men out there have 8-packs, okay, and 6-packs. I developed a skinny 12-pack, and that was half of my life, was staying skinny. I didn't care about the pack part, just being skinny. So I'm in these mental hospitals, and I'm saying, you know, I'm just trying to get a correct diagnosis. I would like to eat, but you guys have me on a fat gaining medication, and that's not funny at all. And I'm still worried that my body isn't going to bounce back, and I'm going to have to pay some kind of surgical doctor to cut the fat and skin off my body to give me a regular shape again. Like, how are my legs and my ass going to look? My stomach going to look ever again? Are they going to go back to normal? I don't know. Are they going to have to like cut shit off to make it look normal again? This is what's driving my anger right now. But yeah, you know, and I'm pissed about that situation right now. So, yeah, this is one reason I'm so fucking pissed at this powerful Facebook employee who has decided to illegally tamper and block my Facebook. I wanted to attempt to be a influencer and make $5,000 a month. Just attempt. If it didn't happen, then I knew to go apply to get a job elsewhere. Okay, so a couple months went by and I caught you guys tampering with my shit, and I'm telling myself, you guys probably do owe me that $5,000 a month, and now it's hard for my mind to go apply for a job. But if you guys were to give me the $5,000 a month, I would use the money to go buy diet food, fat-burning pills, and I would start working with a personal trainer 7 days a week. Not 5, 7. I'm trying to get my skinny body back, okay? So yeah, I literally want my paycheck right now so I can start working with a personal trainer 7 days a week, okay? Right now. And I can't make you do that, okay? But yeah, you know, Robert De Niro made a quote saying, "Nothing annoys me more than when somebody does something to someone else that they don't want done to themselves." Okay. So the powerful man who's illegally blocking my Facebook and tampering with my Facebook, you understand that's now a real quote, and a lot of people agree with this quote. Okay. So you're doing something to me that you don't want done to yourself. And it's annoying Robert De Niro right now. It's annoying me. It's annoying a lot of people. Okay. And I don't believe there's any way for you to get out of a court hearing and a jail sentence for illegally blocking my Facebook at this point. There's no way for you to get out of it in any direction. I suggest you guys give me my lawful money right now so I can go buy diet food and work with a personal trainer seven days a week to find out if my body's going to come back or if I need to go work with a surgeon, okay, to cut my body back into a skinny shape that it used to be. That was half of my life was dedicated to a healthy body. I didn't care about the good cooking. Okay, I enjoyed the health foods. Okay, you know, granola bars, protein bars, health shakes. You know, Adwala shakes, naked shakes. Yeah, I was into all of that crap. Okay, you know, good food is good, but I enjoy being skinny more than I enjoy the good food. Yeah, Robert De Niro. I wonder what other movies he's in. Yeah, it was funny in that Cape Fear movie. He got fucking ripped. I don't think most people understand that side of Robert De Niro because he thinned down too. But Robert De Niro used to be fucking jacked, man. Like more jacked than those fucking bodybuilders. You looked at Robert De Niro. He was more ripped and jacked than the bodybuilders. And if you look at the one picture that I took of my 12 pack on my Facebook, you're gonna find out that I was more cut, okay, than anyone that you have ever seen in your entire life. And if you guys want to know the story of how I pulled off that 12 pack, I'll let you guys know. I worked harder, okay, than all of those bodybuilders and those WWF wrestlers and those cage fighters, okay, and those mixed martial artists. If you guys want to know the story of how I pulled off that 12 pack, I'll let you guys know someday, okay? You're gonna find out that there was no pornography, there was no masturbating, there was no romance in my life, okay? So that's how I managed to get so cut like that, okay? And yeah, I mean, it was important to me to have a skinny body. It wasn't the 12 pack. It wasn't the 6 pack. I just enjoyed being skinny. There's a lot of messed up shit in this world, and something that was giving me my joy in this world was taking care of my teeth and my body. Okay, so I didn't take very good care of my teeth growing up, but when I got my own apartment, I started taking care of them really, 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 really good. By age 22, people used to compliment how nice my teeth look. They weren't perfectly straight, but they looked nice, and I cleaned them a lot. 14 years being illegally held in jail in the mental hospital, I got 2 teeth pulled, 2 root canals done, and I had 28 cavities. And I used to have, at age 22, I had 0 cavities. And I would go to the dentist. And then 14 years later, I get 2 teeth pulled, 2 root canals done, and I got 28 cavities. Right now, I think I have 10 cavities that I need to take care of, which is another reason why I need Facebook to give me my money, so I can go to a dentist and have them clean my teeth. And I've looked into it. If you have enough money, then where my teeth were pulled, they can put fake teeth in there. Okay, I'm irritated about that, but I'll be thankful if they can give me fake teeth. You know, I'd rather have my normal teeth, but again, you know, I'm very upset with the attorneys and the FBI agents and the detectives that didn't respond to me for 14 years. But if you get to know me personally, you find out that I'm someone who makes the best of the situation. And I'm trying to do that right now. Again, I would like Facebook to give me my lawful check so I can go work with a personal trainer 7 days a week, so I can find out if my body's coming back or if I need to go talk to a surgeon. Okay. Okay, so this was my Facebook. Hold up. What was I trying to remember what I was going to title this? Yeah, this was my it'll come back to me. So, but yeah, so I made this this YouTube video to post on my Facebook to tell you guys about the Robert De Niro quote that I read, and I want you guys to understand that that quote is real, and you guys have really annoyed Robert De Niro, and I bet you guys have annoyed a lot of people in this country. Okay. Again, I suggest you guys give me my lawful paycheck right now. Can't make you do anything, and I'll have you know within the next day or two. Yeah, within the next day or 2 or 3, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to say, and what I'm trying to do. So, the man or woman who's illegally blocking my Facebook, I want you to turn around and tell Facebook. I want you to tell the government. I want you to tell America what I am thinking, okay? What I am trying to do, or what I am thinking, what I am trying to say, and what I'm trying to do. Go ahead and turn around and tell everybody that, okay? Within the next 1, 2, 3 days, I'm going to tell you, okay, exactly what I'm thinking, exactly what I'm trying to say, and what I'm trying to do. So, yeah, know that you have annoyed a lot of people. And I don't believe there's any way for you to avoid jail. I want someone to contact me and transfer me the money that is lawfully owed to me. Okay, it's getting late. I need to go use the restroom. I'm going to go get something to eat, and I'm going to go to bed.